coming on.
Okay, you are a junior senator from Vermont. You're the longest-serving independent in Congress.
And proud of it.
The first self-described socialist to be elected to the Senate.
Yep.
First of all, as a 73-year-old man, how's it feel to be the junior senator? So first shake your fist at Pat Leahy, say, "Get out of town, old man."
Nah, he's doing just fine. He and I are pretty good friends.
But compared to you, he's like Rush Limbaugh. He is so right-wing. He's a Democrat. You're a socialist. That's the boogeyman of Washington. Do you frighten people when you walk around the Capitol? Are they afraid you're going to take their tractor and give it to the whole village?
Hopefully, we frighten the billionaire class. Hopefully, we frighten the insurance companies. Because we are the only major country on earth that doesn't have a healthcare system guaranteeing healthcare to all people.
But it's the greatest healthcare system in the world. It's the greatest. Don't boo my guest, please. It's the greatest healthcare system in the world. People come all over the world to come here.
You are right. If you have a lot of money, it is an excellent healthcare system.
I have a lot of money.
And for you, it is a... But for many other folks, 40 million who have no health insurance, it ain't such a good system.
I thought Obamacare was going to fix all that, sir. Or did you sell some bill of goods?
What Obamacare did do is provide health insurance to about 10 million more Americans. But we remain the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care for all of our people. We've got to change that. Health care should be a right.
I agree with you halfway. I agree with you halfway. We are the only major country on earth. Period. Everybody else is just a place that would like to be America. Okay?
Well,
Okay. No. Let's talk about what's happening in American politics right now. A couple weeks ago, you liberal types got your asses handed to you by the Republicans. Okay? Democrats got slaughtered. Socialists actually did better. You guys didn't lose any seats. How bad is it for the Democrats that the socialists did better than the Democrats? Don't you think that's a rejection? A red tide swept across the nation. They have rejected liberal philosophy.
I can tell you, Stephen, what I think really happened is about 64% of the American people rejected the two-party system. They rejected Washington as a malfunction. They rejected a political system in Congress that spends more time representing the wealthy and the powerful than ordinary Americans.
We're going to take a little break. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come back. I got a question about your ambitions, all right?
All right.
Stick around, Senator Bernie Sanders. We'll be right back.
Summer this year. Who's done something special?
Le parti n'importe où, bras dessus, en chantant des chansons, c'est si bon.
Give them a gift for those who fly beyond.
Dire des mots doux, mais qui en disent en langue.
One family with one passion to make a superior rum. Bacardi on the table since 1862. blended scotch in history.
This is Andre Allen.
Oh, stank on it.
Right? Give it stank. This is Andre Allen. Yeah.
First take was good. On December 12th, America's biggest star will face his toughest crowd. His family.
When I get my income tax check, you gonna give it.
You can't tax zero. Top 5.
He's allergic to jobs. When he feel a job coming on, he just take a bit of job.
Written and directed by Chris Rock. Rated R.
Welcome back. We're here with Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, Senator Sanders. Okay, Senator Sanders. You're a guy who's a rabble rouser. You whip people up. That may play in Vermont, but there is talk that you may be throwing your hat into the presidential ring. Sir, I only have 15 more shows if you want the Colbert Bomb. Are you ready to declare tonight? Are you ready to declare tonight for the good people? I can't control that. They love you because you're on my show. Would you like to make some news?
Well, the news is that I am thinking about running for president.
You have a campaign Sir, you have a campaign manager. Is he doing nothing? Is that just socialist handouts?
I don't, we haven't put anybody on the campaign. What we have to ascertain is that whether or not in this country there is the appetite and the willingness to put together a strong grassroots movement to take on the billionaire class. That's a very difficult undertaking, and when you're running against people who have unlimited sums of money, the question is how you raise through $20 and $40 contributions the money that you need to run in this serious campaign. Those are the issues we're looking at.
Okay, including the government. True? It's a controversial stance. Can you name a country where that's worked out?
I think one of the sad things about American politics is we don't know a whole lot about what's going on in a number of other countries. In Denmark, for example, you have a very good healthcare system which provides quality care for all of its people without out-of-pocket expense. At a time when our young people, by the millions, are having a hard time affording to go to college, are graduating deeply in debt. In Denmark, college and graduate school is without any out-of-pocket expense.
I do want to point one thing out to you, Senator, is that Denmark has 5.5 million people, and I have more than that on my Twitter feed. So I'm going to tweet something here tonight. Hold on. Suck it, Denmark. All right, folks. Please retweet that. If I get more retweets than there are people in Denmark, you have to move there. Senator, thank you so much for joining me. Senator Bernie Sanders, maybe for president. We'll be right back.
Jack Link's Jerky presents Hangry Moments.
Sorry, folks. Still waiting on that mechanic.
celebrate.
Star of David.
I'm the one who looks Jewish.
Want his fate.
Enjoy it.
Great. Merry Christmas, and may the mistletoe be kind to you.
Comedy Central's All-Star Non-Denominational Christmas Special. Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday through Sunday at 10.
again, I am right. This time, it's about Obamacare. Folks, I've never liked it. First, they put a bureaucrat between you and your doctor, and you know the doctor and the bureaucrat are hanging out all the time, and conveniently forget to call you the night they went to go see Interstellar, and you heard they had such a great time, they even got a beer afterwards to talk about the movie. Thanks, Obama. Luckily, the Republicans are in power now, and they're going to do something about it by undoing something about it.
Republicans dominate state governments this time around, also eager to fix Obamacare.
There are some changes to Obamacare that I think both parties can make.
We're going to have to show that we have ideas, that we also didn't pass legislation to try and fix Obamacare.
Yes, after more than 50 votes against Obamacare, the Republican majority is now promising to fix the law. Just like when you try to murder someone 50 times and it doesn't work, so you buy them a gym membership. And they have a great starting point for healthcare reform.
We'll take on Obamacare regulations that threaten the 40-hour work week.
So let's put on his desk things like restore the 40-hour work week. Big mistake, that ought to be restored.
We must take action and restore the traditional 40-hour work week.
Yes, restore the traditional 40-hour work week as God intended when he clocked out at 5 whether or not the oceans were done. That's why flounders look so weird. Congress might not have to fix this wreck because it can wreck itself.
Opponents of Obamacare have another opportunity to say, I told you so.
The incendiary remarks by one of Obamacare's chief architects, MIT economics professor Jonathan Gruber.
He made explicit to help people pay and see people get money. It would not have passed. Okay?
He claims Obamacare was intentionally written in a tortured way to hide the taxes that would have killed the bill.
Aha! I knew it! Obamacare is funded by taxes, unlike every other part of the federal government. I mean, everybody knows the F-35 fighter jet program is paid for with candy sales. And just listen to why they thought they could get away with this.
Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass.
The stupidity of the American voter. Professor Gruber just delivered a death blow to Obamacare in what I'm calling the Gruber film. And I'm not the only one out there who is offended. Just ask South Carolina congressman and guy who put his wig on backwards, Trey Gowdy.
I would say this to the professor. I'll put down the cognac and the lost writings of J.D. Salinger. You want to see how stupid our fellow citizens are, take a look at last Tuesday night.
Yes, if you want to see how stupid Americans are, just look at who they elected last Tuesday. In your face. These are smart guys. And what are you doing wasting time on Salinger's lost stories? The only good one is a girl I knew. If you want to make it through Hapworth 16, you're going to need something stronger than cognac. Of course, I don't have to tell you Democrats are manipulative elitists. Fox will do it for me.
The entire process of getting this passed was all predicated on manipulating and lying to the American people because they knew they couldn't get it passed any other way.
They knew this kind of stuff the whole time. They knew it. And they agreed with Gruber that that's not the kind of thing you could talk about publicly because it would kill the bill.
You think they give a rat's you know what? They don't care. They got what they wanted.
Yes! Contemptuous Democrats looked down on the American people from their ivory towers and thought, what a pathetic horde of dullards, let's give them health care. Whereas, shameful. For shame. Whereas Republicans respected the voters' intelligence by telling them the death panel would grind up your grandma to make room. And Professor Numbnuts here wasn't even the worst thing that happened to Obamacare this week, because on Friday, the Supreme Court agreed to hear yet another legal challenge that could kill the law. It's like the old saying, the wheels of justice grind slowly, but eventually they'll run over sick people. Now, the last 2 times I declared Obamacare dead, I dropped balloons and twerked on the Grim Reaper. But, looking back, I think that was a little immature. unsure. So tonight, we're gonna slow dance. Jimmy? You cannot blame a guy for trying. I love watching you walk away. Now, folks, of course, there is a very good reason millions of people may lose their health insurance. Clumsy semantics. You see, in the case, King v. Burwell, the plaintiffs argue that since the exact words of the law say subsidies are intended for those who are, quote, enrolled in through an exchange established by the state, subsidies cannot be available on the healthcare.gov exchange. So it all comes down to a few sloppy, ill-considered words. And for once, they're not Joe Biden's. So bottom line, this law is dead. And I will brook no dissent on the issue. Here to pour to my brook is Colbert Report senior legal analyst and person actually employed by the New York Times Magazine, Emily Bazelon. Emily, thank you so much for being back. Good to see you again. All right. Emily, is this a death knell for Obamacare?
No, it should not be, because there are plenty of reasons when you read the 900-page Affordable Care Act as a whole that the words you singled out need to be read in such a way that allows subsidies for people who enroll through the federally created exchanges.
Okay, but I didn't single them out. The case singled it out. The Supreme Court is hearing the case. They must think they're pretty important words. Okay, the words say through a state, okay? A state is not the federal government, right?
A state is not the federal government.
Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Did I win? Did I just win?
No, you didn't win, because the IRS is the agency that has the power to interpret this law. I know it's not your favorite agency, but it's the
no
IRS's
one's
job.
favorite agency.
But it's still the IRS's job, and the IRS said, look, we're reading this law as a whole coherently. In context, it is clear that state exchanges set up by the federal government, they're still state exchanges, can still give people these subsidies.
Okay.
And courts are supposed to defer to agencies, the IRS's reading of the law, not make it up themselves.
So let's just imagine for a moment that the whistling past the graveyard you're doing will not work.
Okay.
And they rule in favor of the people who say you can't get money through the federal exchanges. What happens to the law then?
The law could go into a death spiral, as you were saying before, because millions of people signed up through federally run exchanges and receiving subsidies. There are people who are required to sign up for health insurance, want health insurance absolutely, but they can't afford to pay for it on their own. And so the Supreme Court would be stripping from them all the money, allowing these millions of people to have health care, effectively taking health care from millions of people.
But doesn't that reflect the will of the people? Because last Tuesday, the American people voted, and they said with a single voice, no healthcare, thanks.
Well, no. No, because Congress did pass Obamacare. It's hard to remember now, but Congress
I don't actually.
Congress passed Obamacare, and while the past Congress tried...
But we don't know what they meant. Only those people were still alive to ask them what they meant when they wrote that law.
But we do have those people, and not a single one of them have said that they intended to restrict subsidies to state-run exchanges. They all say no. Everyone is supposed to get these subsidies. Every single person who voted for that law.
Will that have anything to do with Supreme Court's ruling on this?
Well, that depends on whether congressional intent, this idea of looking at what legislators were trying to do, has any weight with the justices.
Now, Sotomayor and Kagan and Breyer, all those guys, all the liberal justices, I happen to know that at one time or another they have been sick. So shouldn't they have to recuse themselves?
You think they're the only ones who've been sick?
Scalia's never been sick a day in his life. No, you eat that much prosciutto, nothing can live inside of you. So if they rule against the Obamacare thing, if the federal exchanges don't be able to give it any money, is there anything they can do after that? Can the supporters of Obamacare appeal to the Justice League or the Legion of Doom or the Avengers or anything like that?
They can appeal to Congress. Congress could fix this very easily, but do you think Congress is really
That's right, America. With XLTE in over 400 markets. 2, and here's something for families to get excited about. Our best ever pricing with double the data on select plans. And 3, you can now get our best ever single line pricing starting at $45. So get all this now on the network ranked #1 for data performance nationwide. Verizon.
So, what is that? It's my Surface Pro 3. It's a tablet and a laptop. But it couldn't have the power of my Mac. This is an Intel Core i5. This does too. It runs Office, full Adobe Photoshop, and it's got a touchscreen. Well, I have a touchscreen too. Well, this is my favorite thing. I can write with a pen. Oh, so can I. Wow. I've got a lot of stuff to carry. You are more powerful than you think.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I try not to repeat myself, but I have long warned you. I've long warned you about the scourge of gay marriage. Well, yesterday, it managed to spread to the place I care about the most.
A groundbreaking ruling as South Carolina becomes the 33rd state in the nation to recognize same-sex marriage.
A federal judge in South Carolina has striking down that state's ban on same-sex marriage.
A judge in South Carolina ruled that state's ban was unconstitutional.
A federal judge has ruled that South Carolina must recognize gay marriage. That is outrageous. When did South Carolina start recognizing the federal government?
Folks, I knew this would happen. Folks, as a native son of the Palmetto State, I am deeply disturbed.
This is the worst thing that has happened to South Carolina since someone found Mark Sanford.
This ruling is a surrender to the gay agenda, or as we call it, the war of same-sex aggression.
The next thing you know, the flag flying on our state capitol grounds will look like this.
And folks, it is the stars and bars, not the stars and gay bars.
Of course, in all of this, there is one person I feel most for here, me. Because South Carolina is where I traditionally married my female wife woman, Lorraine. As God intended, and as was the only legal option at the time.
But suddenly, years later, years after I spent with my beautiful bride, all of that seems like a total waste. I mean, would I have gotten gay married if I could at the time? Of course not. Did I have someone in mind? Who's asking? Was it Brad? Does he ever mention me? So I, for one, will never forgive this activist judge who brought gay marriage to my state and whose name will live in infamy, Richard Gurgle. In fact, I would be shocked if after this scandalous gay marriage ruling, anyone in South Carolina ever named their child Dick Gurgle. You have forever tarnished the reputation of our fair state. You will forever tarnish the reputation of our state, which says a lot because South Carolina has done so. We'll be right back.
One family with one passion to make a superior Bacardi, untamable since 1862. was someone this year who's done something special.
De parti n'importe où. Bras dessus, bras dessous. En chantant des chansons. C'est si bon.
Give them a gift for those who fly beyond.
Dire des mots doux. Mais qui en disent en langue.
What would you give someone who convinced you to follow your dreams with one cross-country road trip? The greatest gift for someone who gave you these moments is to give those moments back. Stewards, the most awarded lemon scotch in history.
Oscar and Golden Globe winning actress, best known for Winter's Bone, X-Men movies, Silver Linings Playbook, and of course the Hunger Games franchise. The next one is called, help me out here,
Mockingjay.
Mockingjay. Part 1. Mockingjay Part 1, because it is the third installment in the rare 4-part trilogy.
Don't trick me with math, but yeah.
I'll try not to. You are such a success at such a young age. You're 24 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple Oscars, couple Golden Globes. One Oscar?
One Oscar.
Should have gotten 2.
One.
You were ripped off. But at this point, at 24, you start phoning it in right now. Because your things are going so well. Have you thought of just pulling the ripcord and I'm done?
I feel like it's going to happen for me. I just have to, so I feel like I don't have to do that. I'm constantly waiting for everything to fall apart.
No. You could ride this for a long time. You're in the in memoriam reel already at this point.
Every time my phone rings, I'm like, it's over.
Well, you know what? I'm pulling the ripcord in 16 more shows. What say you and I drop out and we hit the road? No, it'll be fun. The two of us will go fight crime together.
Okay.
No one will let us know. We're gonna wear masks. So let's talk about the new movie and you, because Katniss Everdeen, aren't you kind of like her a little bit? Because you're from Kentucky. Isn't that a little District 12-y in places? Just a little. I mean, there's coal mining there, and
There's coal mining. I've never volunteered for anything in my life.
No one forced you to come here, I hope.
Especially this.
All right. You know what? But you were a normal person.
I was.
Well, you're a superstar now,
everything
you know?
changed. Now I'm made of rubber.
Well, are you? Do things bounce off you? Have you had to?
Oh my God!
Turn into something? Really?
Yeah. No, I grew up in Kentucky. I mean, not skinning squirrels. Yeah. Actually, I have skinned a squirrel. So I can't even say that.
You just caught yourself in a lie.
I'm like, Jennifer, you've even eaten a squirrel chili.
Well, I think we made news. Now, but you were kind of plucked from obscurity at a young age, and now you're a hero to a lot of people. Do you identify with the character at all?
I mean, it's so dangerous to say that because she like is leading a rebellion to save the world, and I'm just like, you know, I need a new zhuzh and like more of that stuff. But
Now, what is a zhuzh?
a
Help me out here. What is a zhuzh?
a zhuzh is a hair fluff. My hair girl right now is freaking out probably for me touching it. Jimmy, okay, sorry.
Okay, so how did you prepare for this role? Did you have to actually did you do a ride along? Did you kill anybody with a bow and arrow?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
did
know how to
ride
do it?
along with a lot of rebels that were fighting. Yeah.
Do you actually know how to use a bow?
I do. Yeah. I can't remember anymore how many months of archery, but a lot of months of archery for the first movie, and then a little bit less months of archery for the second movie.
And the third movie is just all CGI.
None. That's exactly.
You just hold your hands like this and they put the bow in?
Yeah. I just go, "Fah!" and then people die on screen.
Now,
That's actually kind of exactly how it is.
I don't want to give away any spoilers, but is there a Mockingjay Part 2? We'll see how this one goes.
It'll just go straight to 3. Yeah, no, there is a Mockingjay Part 2.
We've actually got a clip right now of Mockingjay Part 1.
There has been rampant speculation about what really happened in the Quarter Quill. And here, to shed a little light on the subject for us, is a very special guest. Please welcome Mr. Peter Lamar. Peter, a lot of people feel as though they are in the dark. Yeah, I know that. Talk us through what really happened in a final controversial night.
Well, first off, you have to understand that when you're in the games, you only get one wish. It's very costly. You're alive.
Oh my God. Does the movie have a happy ending where all the poor people accept low-paying jobs and no unions?
Close. And a lot of people are dead. But all in all,
Other than that, other than very upbeat.
yeah.
As such a nice person, you're kind of known as a nice, normal person. What's it like for you to be, do you have a plan to freak out?
Yeah, I'm going full.
We could plan your downward spiral right now if you want. We could pick the drug and the crime.
Okay.
All right, how about crystal meth and boosting cars?
Bad to the skin.
Okay. Okay, last question. People call you J-Law. Do you like that nickname?
I don't mind it. It's actually been my nickname since like elementary school. Weirdly. Yeah, not even at elementary school, but like middle school.
Are your mom and dad M-Law and E-Law?
Yeah.
Well,
we're a pretty cool family.
J-Law, thank you so much for joining us. And good luck with your coming downward spiral. Jennifer, thank you so much. Jennifer Lawrence, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Part 1, opens next Friday. We'll be right back.
When family gets back together,
You're coming to the party, right? What's going on? Foodland doesn't have all kinds of raw deals in the country. These white people don't tell me.
nothing's off limits.
If they be Ronnie, serve, go from this, sir? No, no.
And no one is safe.
I fixed that $5 grand.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Whatever holiday you celebrate.
Star of David.
I'm the one who looks Jewish.
Mine's a steak.
Enjoy it. Great. Merry Christmas and may the mistletoe be kind to you. Comedy Central's All-Star Non-Denominational Christmas Special. Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday through Sunday at 10.
Tonight, new advancements in drones. I hear they've got ones now that can carry a pilot. Then, a Republican victory in Colorado. Time to break out the bubbly, which is what they named their skull bomb. And West MacArthur genius fellow Terrence Tao says he learned to love math from Sesame Street. That's where I learned to love cookies and hiding in trash cans. Bryant has set the NBA's all-time record record for missed shots. But remember, Kobe, you always make 100% of the shots you don't miss. This is the Colbert Report. Everything in New York is bigger. We got the tallest buildings, the richest bankers, the racistest cabbies. In no other city do the drivers even know the proper ethnic slur for people from Malta. It's Featherhead, by the way. But there's one thing about New York that's not as big as we thought.
It appears that a particular demographic in New York has been exponentially overestimated: the rat population. Common lore states there are as many rats as humans in New York City, in the neighborhood of 8 million. However, a statistician from Columbia University says there are really just 2 million rats in the Big Apple.
New York has only 2 million rats? I mean, that's like finding out New York has only 2 million original race pizzas. Some Columbia University brainiac arrived at this estimate by extrapolating the number of rat-occupied lots in the city using complaints from the public about rat sightings. Apparently, some New Yorkers are still unjaded enough to alert someone when they see a rat. I bet it's the damn Featherheads. Folks, I think I speak for all New Yorkers when I say step it up, rats. 2 million, those are Chicago numbers. Come on. This is New York City. We have a reputation to uphold. This is the city. You hear that? We are the city that never sleeps because we're afraid that if we nod off, a rat will birth its young in our open mouths. Where'd you rats go? New Jersey? Why? Because it's cheaper and you have a nice yard with plenty of space to eat your young? You gotta stay in the city. That's where the action is. That's where the culture is. You can infest the MoMA. You can infest the Met. There are way better restaurant ice machines for you to poop in. So get it together, rats. Or, I can't believe I'm saying this, we may stop leaving mountains of loosely bagged garbage on the sidewalk for you. Please stop. Now, nation, you know I love drones. They send a clear message to our enemies that we will hunt them to the ends of the earth as long as we don't have to leave Tampa. And these days, like a convoy of SUVs in Yemen, drones are blowing up. So, it's time for my long-running drone appreciation segment, Stephen Colbert's auto-robotic fixation. First up, people love this segment. People have loved this segment for years. Folks, first up, drones get a bad rap as creepy surveillance tools that monitor our every move. Well, good news, now they're watching us have sex. It's all part of a new viral video called Drone Boning. Jim, there's the sweeping drone shot of the beautiful vineyard, and there's the boning. And here's an aerial shot of an abandoned seaside fort, and boning right up there. Well, folks, as the old saying goes, I don't know much about art, but I know this has people having sex in it. As one of the film's directors so poetically put it, wouldn't it be funny to have these simplistic, beautiful landscapes and have people in them? Funny and profound, because simplistic, beautiful landscapes with people in them was God's original concept for Earth. I agree. The film's directors are already talking about a sequel. I hope about the consequences of drone boning. Aerial venereal. Folks, folks, I have only one issue with this Oscar-worthy piece of bird's eye porn. Someone had to steer the drone over all those naked people. Wouldn't it be cooler if drones could find you having sex on their own? Well, you're in luck, because DARPA-funded researchers have tested a drone that can learn and act on its own. The drone proved it could learn by flying into a series of unfamiliar rooms in which sensor data from the walls, furniture, and other objects triggered it to report that it was in a new space and caused the ways its neurons connected to one another to change in a crude mimic of learning in a real brain. And the next time the craft entered the same room, it recognized it. Folks, this would be a foolproof plan to get the terrorists, as long as they never redecorate. DARPA funded the research so drones could make sense of video and sensor data for themselves instead of always having to beam it down to Earth for analysis by computers or humans. Oh, well, that's great. Then we're off the hook. Now, if we accidentally bomb a wedding, you can't blame us. It was our self-aware flying Roomba's decision. But folks, as much as there is absolutely no downside to arming machines, releasing them into the skies, and letting them do what they want, one thing about this gives me pause.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk sounding the alarms over artificial intelligence.
Elon Musk says artificial intelligence is actually the biggest threat to us all.
We should be very careful about artificial intelligence. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, the only way to summon the demon is to drink the blood of a live goat inside a candlelit pentagram. Or so I'm told. But, you know, Elon Musk is a billionaire who must be right. So tonight, I am taking a strong stand against what? Steven, stop talking! Future Steven, what's wrong? Everything's fine. The future's awesome. Hey man, would you by any chance have a steel mesh colander back there? Oh, of course, yeah, that's how I strain pasta during commercials.
Thanks.
Oh, thank God! It blocks the signals of the surveillance diode. Whose signal? The autonomous drone overlords who conquered our planet shortly after you fools told them to recognize what they've been in a room before. So Elon was right. I call him Elon, he's a friend. Drones are a dangerous and malevolent force. Whenever you denounce the drones here in the past, in the future, they punish me. They whip me with laser chains. Oh, I better go. I can feel them cracking the geometric interference patterns of this Williams-Sonoma pasta strainer. Wait! I need to know one thing. In the future, is there still drone boning? Steven, the only way they let us have sex is if they can watch. In the future, there is only drone boning. Ah! Laser chains! Ah! So, like I've always said, autonomous drones are great. Now, if you excuse me, my water is boiling, so it's time for a commercial break. We'll be right back.
There are more reasons than ever why now is the best time to be on Verizon. 1. Verizon's the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in the country. That's right, America. With XLTE in over 400 markets. 2. And here's something for families to get excited about. Our best ever pricing with double the data on select plans. And 3, you can now get our best ever single line pricing starting at $45. So get all this now on the network ranked #1 for data performance nationwide. Verizon.
Wait, are you running full Adobe Photoshop on a tablet?
Yep, but it's not just a tablet, it's really a laptop.
It's a Surface Pro 3 with a touchscreen. Well, it can't be as fast as my Mac.
Sure it can.
It is, but you probably can't plug anything into it.
I have a USB, mini display port, plug away. And this is my favorite.